Welcome to Shrimperscast with me, Paul Hill.
And me, Steve Mansfield. On today's show,
Seasiders and freefall as 3 losses on the bounce leave Blues just outside the drop.
but 2 games in hand and new signings settling in offer comfort as Southend look to bounce back up the table.
I sit down with former captain John White and Dan King of the Southend United Community and Education Trust.
And we preview upcoming away ties against bottom of the table Oxford City and Maidenhead. Hello and welcome to Shrimperscast. I'm here with Mr. Paul Hill. Paul, how you doing, mate?
All the better for seeing you, son. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Happy Valentine's Day, Valentine's evening.
Yeah.
They say romance is dead.
And I'm spending it with you.
They've not met us. Yeah, we're so romantic. We've said goodbye to our partners, our spouses, give them a little a cheeky kiss on the cheek, walked out and gone and recorded a podcast on the 14th of February. You know, great guys.
It's what we do.
It's what we do. You know, getting loads of brownie points.
Maybe, love you, darling.
Maybe not brownie points with the with the missus, but certainly with Southend fans. Dedication to the podcast.
My wife will be all right. With yours?
Yeah, she's happy to see the back of me, to be fair, I think. So.
Same, really. I kind of cocked up the dinner. Didn't do too well.
Well, let's not cock up the podcast.
No.
Let's make the most of this evening. So, last time we spoke, so we had a week off last week. We just lost to Chesterfield, who, bit of an outlier at the top of the table, amazing form, put that one down to, a bit of bad luck, and it's one of those games that you don't really need to win in Southend's position.
No.
And had a couple of, on paper, easier games, both at home.
Stinkers.
Gateshead and York City, and Paul, 3 games, 3 losses, 9 points dropped. And from talking about pushing, potentially for the playoffs, we're now looking at a relegation dogfight instantly. So, yeah.
Wow.
How is it being a shrimper?
Marvellous. Well, yeah, it's one of those ones, isn't it? That league is really tight. Because we've got 2 games in hand, haven't we?
Yeah.
If we win them, right, the 2 games in hand that we've got coming up against Oxford City, away at Maidenhead, we're back up in the mid-table again.
Mm.
And then we can bark on about the minus 10 points until, the next season comes on. And
Yeah.
we wouldn't be in this position. So I don't think it's for any fault of the players or anything. Well, we're down in this position. But, unfortunately, the 2 games against Gateshead and York,
Really bad?
oh. Well, to be fair, the Gateshead one, yeah, we've done well. We hit the post. Caldwell could have got 1 and 2. I mean, any other day we would have won that 4-1. But I must say, Gateshead though, on when they hit us on the counter, so fluid.
Yeah.
Really cool to watch. I thought they were quite decent going forward. So they came there with a game plan.
Yeah.
I thought this is how we're going to take on Southend, and it worked. And that happens in football. And then obviously York come to town, seeing what's happened before that, and thought again it was a bit frustrating. But I thought there was a bit of difference there between the Gateshead and the York game. I thought with the York game we kind of ran out of ideas. And I thought, well, it was there for the taking when bringing in another team that's down there with us. They're fighting for their lives in this division. And, and their goal, another scrappy one. And you think, when it's against you, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And, all teams will have little bad runs, but it's those 10 points, we have talked about it a lot, but those 10 points make we said at the start of the season, every game is so important to just pick up the points, or even getting the odd point from a draw is really important for Southend. It's just more under the microscope, isn't it? More under the spotlight.
I mean, we'll be 10th, not 20th.
Yeah,
and that's no fault of Kevin or the playing staff or anyone like that. But anyway, he's gone now. Well, we hope he's gone. The deal's not completely done. But
well, no, it's still not done.
It's
which
lingering
is
on.
Another thing that's just come on, get this thing over the line. You do wonder, the consortium obviously are putting money in, but how long's that going to last for? They're not going to have bottomless pockets on the never, and we do know Ron has bad form for this stuff and can keep moving goalposts and changing terms and all that sort of stuff. And the council obviously involved as well. There's some serious players here, and it doesn't feel like as positive as it did. It feels like it's dragged on for a fair amount of time. So
well, the council have got to do a lot. Let's say dealing with Ron, and we all know he's a tricky customer to deal with. But that's out of our hands. We can't do anything about that. But what we can do is make things right on the pitch. And the York game, I thought the new lads that are coming in have been fantastic. And our new man at the back, Crowther, he came on at half time. Gateshead, I think Harry Taylor had picked up a little injury. He looks good.
Good.
Really, really good. And unlucky not to score against York. And I think our new lads, what a time to be playing Oxford City and Maidenhead,
Well, it's not Paul's previews yet, mate.
I know. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that this is the time, these players that have just come in, they've had a few games to settle in now.
Yeah.
We need some results to be picking on, and they are looking really good. And I think, we can't do anything about the council, but come on.
Yeah, you can. You're right. What you can control is what's out there on the pitch. It's probably not going to be a popular thing to say or to discuss, but I do think there have been rumblings of the players have signed new contracts, as have the management. We've got new players coming in, so the squad is larger, and that siege mentality that was kind of not even manufactured. It was real. It was like 10 points lost. We got no subs. Boys, backs to the walls. We've got to perform here.
Yeah.
That has gone now, and it is now more of a normal situation. Perhaps players are a little bit more comfortable. There's definitely that theory out there, and also management-wise, it is a different skill set, isn't it, to motivate a team who, when the chips are really down, which obviously Kev and the management team did an amazing job at. But that is a different kettle of fish to kind of when things are looking up and things are looking a bit rosier. So I think it's way too early to say, and this is probably just a blip. But I have seen certain, comments, things along those lines. So I think it's worth us kind of acknowledging that and exploring it.
Well, football's football, isn't it? It's matter of fact you're going to lose games.
Yeah.
You are going to have a couple of bad runs, and then you might go on a 9-game unbeaten run. But because these theories are about, aren't they? Oh, they've signed contracts. They're tied in for the next 2 years. Everyone's going to just sit back. I mean,
they're on the beach.
They're on the beach.
Southend Beach.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a load of old nonsense. What I reckon is going on there, when you look at the players, everything they've given now, and the new players that are coming in, there is going to be a bit of fatigue that is out there. They are carrying knocks. I mean, look at Harry Taylor going off at half time. I've heard Bridges carrying a knock as well. Harry Caldwell's been playing probably not fully fit.
Yeah, stitched up. Yeah.
Fully fit Caldwell, we're 1-0 up against it.
Yeah.
But and so we've got players come back to fitness. On top of that, new people coming in, they need to be bedded in as well. They can't just come in and hit the ground running.
Yeah.
They need time to adapt, to get used to their new teammates, the new city, the new way of playing.
Well, and they're going up a division as well.
Of course, go full time
yeah.
as well. So, I think you are going to get these little dips in form. We've got 16 games left. I mean, if this carries on for another 6, then start thinking, right, hang on a minute, we're banging trouble. I mean, I've seen people go, you see it online, don't you, and all the posts and the comments, and there are
knee jerk,
we're in a relegation dogfight, we're in this. Well, hang on, we've got 2 games in hand around everyone else. We need a really good reaction.
Yeah.
We need to stop we don't want it losing 4 on the bounce. So, we have a great opportunity here at Oxford and Maidenhead. So let's look at that. But I can see why as well. Everyone's got an opinion in football, haven't they? Mm-hmm. Everyone's got an opinion in football, and we're all armchair managers at heart, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Championship managers.
Yeah. It's Football Manager now, mate.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they changed the name about 20 years ago, I think.
Oh, show me age.
So obviously 2 games coming up, quick, hard and fast, both away games, which we'll get to shortly in the Paul's preview section. But before we go there, you sat down, you've been out there making waves, arranging things with people, and you've got not 1 but 2 very good guests for us this week, Paul. So just talk us through who you've been chatting to and what it's all about.
A complete double bubble. So Yeah, I went down to the club in my day job, working for a football education charity. I do a lot of work
I
with
think
trusts.
you can say the name of it. It's not. We're not on the BBC.
There we are. Yeah, so for Show Racism the Red Card,
Yeah.
I get to work with all Premier League football clubs and Championship, League 1, League 2 and non-league. I work with all their foundations and trusts, and I work closely with a man called Dan King down at Southend. So I gave him a shout and I said, "Oi, do you want to come on for a chat?" He said, "Well, I could do better than that. I'll see if our former captain, Mr. John White, who also works at the trust, is up for coming on too." And, well, they said yes. So they took me to Roots Hall. They said, "Come down to the hall. We'll go and sit in a box and we'll have a little chit-chat." And I thought, well, that's just tremendous, marvellous.
Nice. Well done for sorting that out, Paul. So let's have a little listen to that now.
Wallop. Well, here I am at Roots Hall in a box, would you believe, with two fantastic gentlemen that work for the Community Trust. And I'm here with the Operations Manager, Mr. Dan King. Afternoon, son.
Afternoon, Paul.
And I'm here with our friend and yours, also former player, former captain, and you're the now community officer, Mr. John White. Good afternoon, John.
How we do?
Very good, thank you. Cheers for making the time to see me today. It's been, well, a busy time for Southend United, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
With the takeover and stuff. And in our last pod, we were talking about the Meet the Consortium Day, and something that really stuck out for me was the consortium's commitment with regards to reaching out into the community. But you already do quite a bit of that, don't you, Dan?
We certainly do. Being the secret of Southend, we kind of known as the Southend United Community and Educational Trust, we try and educate and deliver and offer as many opportunities to the local needs, primary schools, secondary schools, different groups, and try and deliver a wide range of opportunities to as many people as we can to eventually hit our million mission, which I'll touch on a little bit more about in later in the podcast. But I've been with the Community Trust now for 8 years, starting as a community coach and now working my way to operations manager. So it's been quite the journey.
Wow. Well done.
Thank you.
You're doing a very good job. And we interviewed April, your colleague April, a couple of episodes ago, and she said some insane numbers, the amount of people you already reach. It's mad, isn't it?
It is crazy. So back in 2016, we set a mission out to work with and have a positive influence on 1 million people by 2026. So in 10 years, we're currently, our record number at the moment is just over 900,000 people in the local community. So we're well on board with our target. We have 2 years left and just 100,000 people to work with. So hopefully in 2024, this year, we'll be able to reach that million mission, which would be a great achievement.
Oh, totally smashed that one.
Absolutely
out of the park, yes. Oh, that is brilliant. And I've also saw online, isn't there a BTEC team? Is that right?
So I'll let John touch on quite a bit on that.
Yeah, so at the moment we've got, I think it's 95 students, so they're doing their BTEC level 2 or level 3, but alongside that is obviously having that draw with Southend United, is we do the football alongside it. So at the moment we've got three football teams that are playing across 3 different leagues,
Wow.
And I'm fortunate enough to be manager of the B team. We're doing all right as things go.
Should be the new A team, I've heard you.
But it's obviously a real good thing to have around, to have that draw for the football. But overall, it's their education they're here for, and if their education isn't up to speed, or if they fall behind, then their football is taken away from them until they're back up to speed. So yes, they want to play football. They're here to play football, but their primary role is to get their education, and if they're not staying up to speed with that, then football gets taken from them just as quick as it can take for them to get back in time with that.
Wow. And how many people are on this in that course?
So like I said, there's 95 students at the moment. Obviously we're looking to expand that year upon year and take that to different levels. I know we're looking for a female only team for next year as well.
Brilliant.
It's obviously a big thing that we feel there's that need for in the community. But yeah, it's about us delivering a quality level of their education, alongside with having some good coaches to treat them like professionals, if you like, and they get that daily training and those matches during the week against other big teams, your likes of Millwall, Chelsea's.
Wow.
So they play against lots of good other other players. So it's a great all-round experience for them, and hopefully it leads them on to good things with either ourselves or if not ourselves, then we help them guide their journey on from us afterwards.
Wow, what an initiative that is.
We actually had a great case study last year with one of our students, George Pullum. I'm sure he won't mind me using his name, but he come from our Premier League Kicks programme, which is funded from the Premier League. And he come then from the Kicks programme onto our college programme, done really well with the 18. The academy then picked him up, and during pre-season this year he actually got on the pitch for the first team. So for us it was a great case study, and we're trying to push the more and more elite players into the academy setup, and then eventually, fingers crossed, push more into the first team. So it's a great kind of progression from college football with us, which we do at Community Educational Trust, to then push into the academy and then push on to, fingers crossed, the first team. So it's a great route for young people. Yeah.
Wow, look at that! You're finding the talent of the town.
Absolutely.
Let's go. Oh, there. And you said you're obviously having quality coaches come through. I mean, kind of helps a little bit, doesn't it, with a former club captain coming in there? So, how easy was it to come back to Southend?
Oh, it was a no-brainer. As soon as the opportunity arose, myself and Dan had a sit-down chat and talked a little bit more seriously about it. But it didn't take too much for me to be convinced. I've already said it a million times before. As soon as I came in, it felt like coming home. It was knowing 75% of the people already, but obviously integrating into that team was a big thing for me, and making sure that I wasn't just coming to be a spare part and just be who I was out on the pitch. I was coming to try and bring my part to the team, if you like, and show that progression. And for me, it's about bringing the community closer to the first team, to the Southend United brand, if you like, and vice versa, bringing the club out to the community as well. And if that can be done through, whether it's using my name or getting that connection a little bit tighter, then I'm all for it. And I really look forward to the opportunity to be able to do that and help bring the divide down a little bit and make that little bit smoother between the two.
Yeah, and the consortium, that was a big part of what they were talking about, bringing the community closer towards the football club and the academy and the trust. So I don't know if you managed to sit down with any of the executive, the new consortium yet, Dan. But what do you think what's that going to look like?
I think it's brilliant, and I think a big one for us is Gary Lockett. So he is the chairman of the Community and Educational Trust. So for us to have Gary on the board in the consortium is brilliant. He knows what we do. He knows the positive influence we have on the local town. And fingers crossed, that's spread now across the board and across the consortium. So yeah, I can only see it going one way, to be honest. The more everyone knows what we do, the better it is for the local community and the city. So yeah, I think it'd be it looks like a great team they've now got together. They look like they're willing to help, and they want to support us as much as possible. And with their backing, I believe we can only go one way. So that's excellent.
Yeah, fantastic. And it sounds as though you might be getting new offices.
Well, that would be nice. That would be very nice. Fingers crossed in the near future or so. The office needs a bit of development, but it's looking likely. So yeah, fingers crossed they're going to produce what they're saying they're going to produce. So yeah, it's on the rise for us.
It would be good, because I know we've done a few events here with you, with my charity, Show Races and the Red Card, partnering with, I always say it, one of the most proactive football clubs we have around here, in my region, in the south of England at least. And you talked about, bringing kids in for the education, because there is a couple of classrooms here, isn't there, that you've got dotted around, or are they just kind of offices that Ron has vacated? So
we had, we've got 2 classrooms here at Roots Hall. We then grew the college scheme, so we managed to get 3 classes at Roots Hall.
Right.
Last year, our numbers grew massively and rapidly, so we had to actually move our whole college over to Garran Park Leisure Centre. So we outgrew the stadium, if you like.
Wow.
So them classrooms are now just for workshops and meetings and so on at Roots Hall. But fingers crossed, if the development goes how it sounds like it's going to go, we could potentially bring the college back to Roots Hall Stadium, because it's a great pool for the young people to learn, to educate at Roots Hall Stadium. And you've seen that pool with your Show Race from the Red Card workshops that we do with primary schools. It's a massive pool for the kids, and they get a real buzz of being at Roots Hall. So it was a little bit of a shame moving to Garran's Park, but we had to due to the numbers increased, and it's great facilities over there. We've got 8 classrooms over there, or we will do eventually, right next to the 4G pitch, which is where they train, they play. So it's a brilliant setup over there, but it would be nice eventually to bring some of it, if not all of it, back to Rootswall Stadium, because that is the home of football, if you like.
Yes, the home of South East Essex football. Absolutely, yeah. But no, it's great. I mean, you're really out there in the community. I mean, what numbers do you look at in a year? Because like when we do our events, I mean, we've done 100 kids, we've had 80 kids. So I mean, that was just on one day. So like, let's just say 2023. What numbers did you hit in that 1 year?
The target is always 100,000 people in that 1 year.
In a year?
That is our target, and that ranges from 2-year-olds to the preschool sessions that we deliver.
Wow.
We've got a great team of coaches, currently 16 full-time coaches that are out and about in the community delivering to 2-year-olds, as I said, to preschools, all the way up until our walking football ages or our senior shrimpers, which are, I think our oldest senior shrimper is now currently 92 years of age. So,
wow.
Yeah, our coaches, they're brilliant. They deliver a vast and real range of opportunities to as many people as we can. So primary school kids to secondary school kids, to disability, to female-only sessions. As much as we can offer, we try and deliver. So, it's a brilliant place to work, and it's brilliant to look back on each year to show and to see what we've actually had a positive impact on the local community. It's brilliant.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, making positive change in the community. And again, like that's what the consortium are talking about, and it's going to be a big part. So it's only going to get bigger.
Definitely.
And expand. I mean, we're looking to embark on a huge project. I'd argue it's going to be the biggest the National League has ever seen. Because Dan, you're a bit of a tailor as well, aren't you? In your spare time, you like to make socks.
Yeah, it sounds interesting, but I've got a sock brand called Rise Socks Official. A lot of footballers from Premier League to National League are now wearing them. They're a grip sock, but we don't just want it to be a grip sock. We want it to be more than that. And working closely with you, Paul, on Show Racing the Red Card, we know racism is still massively affected in the local game and in professional game. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to launch a project called Rise Above Racism, and that will be with secondary school pupils, educating them on the importance of the negative effect racism can have, just in football and in the community. So the aim of it will be Paul delivering a workshop, your anti-racism workshops, your hate crime workshops, which are brilliant. We've done a load with the past kind of 5 to 6 years. And it'll also be giving them a bit of physical activity, so our coach will be delivering football, sports sessions, and then there'll be another workshop which will be completely new and no one's ever done it, is designing a grip sock which is all about anti-racism. So eventually there'll be a winner, and the winner of this sock will then be mass produced, and fingers crossed we'll have some Premier League footballers wearing them in the near future. So that's the aim, that's the kind of side business, but trying to educate young people, which I do on a daily basis. Anyway.
Absolutely. Well, collaboration is key, isn't it?
Absolutely,
and,
definitely.
I keep going back to the consortium. They want to engage local businesses, the community, the trust, everything. So it's only going to invite that positive change in our classrooms.
Absolutely.
And so who's the most? Would you argue the most famous baller at the moment that's wearing your socks?
We've currently got Rasmus Højlund, so he's on form with Manchester United at the moment, scoring goals. I think he scored in his past 3 appearances, so he's one of our big names.
Nice.
Jack Payne is our ambassador, so he plays for MK Dons, having another great season. But yeah, we've got many footballers wearing them. And John White, he is next to me.
In the National League South.
He is in the National League South, being a great assistant manager at Braintree, and he represents the Sox as well. So it's not just for footballers, it's for managers, it's for kids, it's for athletes, runners, people that go to the gym. We're trying to expand the brand and try and get it out to as many athletes and support them as much as possible.
Great work. Fantastic. Well, then, John, and you just mentioned it there, you're now assistant manager now at Braintree.
Yeah.
How are you finding that on top of your coaching and everything else you do here?
Do you know what? I see it as all kind of one big package, if you like, because it's now I'm managing the BTEC team. That's obviously helped me with my team management and breaking me into that world a little bit more gently.
Nice.
But no, I'm really, really enjoying it. I mean, I was still signed on as a player not so long ago this season, but I was sat on a bench a little bit, which was to be expected. I was just trying to find a different way to support the team, if you like. Never really thought about being a coach in my past, so never really did much beyond my job or my work or whatever I was doing. But the more I've done it, the more I've enjoyed helping those young players come through, and whether I can share my experiences or give them those little tidbits of detail that will help them progress in the long run. I'm just really enjoying the different kind of challenge that it's produced for me, and then that's obviously evolved onto being the assistant at Braintree now and having a little bit more of an impact than just having the odd word here or there. I'm finding it really, really good, and I'm enjoying it day to day, and just learning the whole time from my manager and the players and what they respond to, what they don't, what they need, what they don't, all that kind of stuff. So it's, again, that can be taken into my role here in the community and working with people on a day-to-day basis, and taking those opportunities as far and wide as we can within Essex, and helping as many of those young people to succeed and be progressional in what they do, and move forward and help as much as we can.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, you mentioned there your experience. You are vastly experienced in the game of football.
How many experiences now? Is it like?
I think it's over 400 and... Oh, hang on, I did know it. 450 odd, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just over 600 now.
600? Oh, look at that.
In the league, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because you were well known for your time at Colchester and obviously at Southend United, but I think you started... Was it Norwich? Is that where it began for you?
Technically, I signed at Norwich.
Right.
But it was a Colchester branch of Norwich, and I was there for about 2 months before I hated every minute of training. For whatever reason, I can't even remember, but I really didn't enjoy it. So I went back to my Sunday League team, Malden Saints.
Right.
Stuck with them to the end of the season, and then I got picked up by Colchester, who then I went through from the age, I think it was 12, all the way up to leaving them at 26, 27, and then having probably the strongest part of my career over at Southend, and expecting to get dog's abuse for coming over from the enemy. But to be fair, the fan took to me so quick. It was a delight, and just noticing how vocal the fans were both home and away was incredible. That was the first thing I really noticed, how dominant they were as a voice at the side of the pitch. It was incredible. But like I said, it could have been a lot tougher for me coming across. But no, it was. I think it made me settle in really quickly, which was really nice.
How did it come about then? I mean, did they just come knocking Southend? Did you feel like your time was up at Colchester, or did you just fancy a trip across the county?
You're asking a tough question.
Be honest here, John.
Well, now I've finished playing football, technically. The contract I got offered at Colchester was nowhere near what it was the year before, and I wasn't ever one of the big earners anyway, so I didn't technically have anything when I turned down the contract at Colchester. I'm going to drop a name.
Oh.
I was up north with Michael Antonio, who was looking after me, because we became quite close at his time at Colchester, and he was at Sheffield Wednesday at the time. He basically spoke to his manager and said, I hadn't got a club, am I right to just come in and start pre-season with and get some fitness? And I think it was the day before we were about to go into training, Phil Brown was on the phone, and we managed to get a deal done pretty quickly after that, and I was back the next day after that and signed on the dotted line, and the rest is sort of history.
Yeah, I mean, brilliant. You know, I mean, what a career as well. We had some great highs, a few lows, but more highs than I think. I mean, I'm trying to think of a game where I was just thinking, you know, what high would it be? I mean, what would be Wembley?
The best.
That's the standout one. There's two the biggest of the big. So obviously Wembley being the main one that everyone that was around will remember. Such an incredible atmosphere that day, and how we turned it around at the last second of extra time, and just the whole emotion of it just gives me goosebumps just thinking about it now. So obviously that's the big one, because who gets to say that they've taken their team out at Wembley and walked them up the steps and picked up the trophy, which is all stuff that I didn't kind of clock on that was going to happen, even after Bence had made that last save, and it was just an incredible time. But the other one that stands out for me is the Sunderland game at home, where we had to win to stay up. It was a late kick-off, I remember, so I had a whole day stewing about it, and had a real eventful game that day. I mean, scoring, bit of an over-egged shin, if you want to call it that. then slipping and giving away a penalty,
Yeah.
which they scored, which levelled the score. Then you could see feel the atmosphere just drop, because I think was it Plymouth or someone like that was the other team that was around it that were obviously doing well enough to stay up at that time, and then obviously the magic of that Stephen Humphreys goal right at the end of the game, and then even after that I broke my arm with a couple. Well, it was about 4 or 5 minutes to go, and we'd made all our subs, so it was a case of strap it up and get on with it. Luckily, I didn't have to do too much after that, but then just the floods of fans coming onto the pitch after, and just even with the broken arm, I was still here celebrating for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then all the boys sending me pictures of them having a drink somewhere, and I was in hospital waiting for an X-ray. So I joined them the next day instead.
That's it. There were definitely a few sore heads. I mean, after that match, mine being one of them as well. I mean, we've had some great players at Southend. I mean, Stephen Humphreys, we see him now. I thought he was brilliant. He's gone on to kick on, hasn't he? Yeah, but I've got to throw another tough one. I'll throw them both to you.
Yeah.
Who's the best player you've seen? You can't say him. Right, and who's the best player you've
anyway.
played with?
Well, I'll start. So I played for the club, Southend United, for 10 years. When I was 9 till I was 19, done a scholar, didn't get a pro, released under Phil Brown actually. So that's quite funny. Phil Brown gave John his first contract and didn't give me mine, but it's all good memories. So the best player, going back to the best player would be I've played against would be Dele Alli. So he was at MK Dons at the time, and I remember this game. He was 4, I was number 4, both holding midfielders, and he dominated the whole game. I think he must have nutmegged 7 out of the 11 players on our team. So he'd be the standout player for me.
Dele Alli, you can't fancy that. As about you, John, who's the best one you've... But let's start with, who was the best player, Southend player, you think you've played with?
Do you know what? Probably amongst Southend fans, they'd realise how good he was when he was here. But outside world, maybe not quite as much, but Ryan Leonard. He was incredible. When I was here, he was an absolute specimen of a human who ate all the crap under the sun, excuse my French, but seemed to just be able to motor for days. He was quicker, he was powerful, he was strong, he had a strike on him, he was a good lad as well. And he's one that was just, you knew he was going to go higher.
Oh, yeah.
And he's obviously still playing at Millwall now. Big £1 million signing, all that kind of stuff, went to Sheffield United from us. So he was one that was always going to go higher onto other things. Another one, Adam Barrett, just for his pure class on and off the pitch, both as a human being but as a footballer as well. You could just see it oozing out of him. He was like the Rolls Royce. He was so controlled with everything he did, and the way he was around not just the experienced pros but the young lads as well, all looked up to him, and the way he carried himself both on and off the pitch was just, like I said, pure class.
Yeah, man, absolute role model. Yeah, I mean, I remember the game away at Sheffield United Ryan Lennon then ruled it. Yeah. Brilliant
machine.
Absolutely, built differently, and what a career. Absolutely, what a career. What about a player that you've played against him? You've played against a few. I mean, as a defender, who do you think thinking, do you know what, I'm glad I'm not facing him again?
Got to be some names there for you.
Didn't play directly against him, but I was up against him on the pitch as well. Dropping, any of the Chelsea boys. So I was lucky enough back in the day. Drogba, Lampard, Ida Johnson, I think, was playing. I was up against Sean Wright Phillips 1-for-1 that day. Essien, I think, was playing. So some absolutely huge world-renowned names. Any of those boys could have just turned up and would just dominating and obviously real strong names in that squad. And I was playing left back on the day. I remember like it was yesterday. Full house at Chelsea, and I think we went 1-0 up, and Ferreira, my man, scored his first Chelsea goal at set piece just before half time. But then they were drawing 1-1 at half time. They bring on Lampard and Joe Cole, and then about 5 minutes later they bring on Hernan Crespo. So they had a bit of firepower on the bench. Any of those boys could easily take it. It was just an incredible day that I'll never forget for different reasons.
I'll never forget it either, because I couldn't get a ticket. But my mate's a Chelsea fan, and I sat right behind that goal in the North Bank, and not knowing any Chelsea songs, I was like, jumping around. And of course we went 1-0 up, then we did that, and it could have been 2 as well.
Yeah.
Remember, I think it may have been Adam Barrett at the back post. Just
Quite
he
possibly.
And he missed it, and then I had to jump out of my seat and no. Yeah, great. I mean, that last minute equaliser at Stamford Bridge though, Peter Clark on his, I think it was his birthday as well, wasn't it? That set up that move, right?
Quite possibly, yeah. But yeah, some huge names. So yeah, I don't want to drop any more. Thank you.
Not at all. But things. Well, the club is now moving in a new direction, and I mean, bad result really at the weekend when it losing 1-0 to Gateshead, and I thought we started well, ended well. They moving quick on the counter. I thought Gateshead were on the break, but I think the playoffs are probably a touch too far. But do you think next season? What do you think? What's going to happen here?
Do you know what? I'd say never say never. Especially with this group of players that are at the club at the moment that just sort of don't know when they're beaten, which is unbelievable. With everything that they've been through as not only a small group, but with everything that's been going on internally, externally, just how they, with that 10-point deduction as well, and just to be anywhere near it is just incredible. So I'd say never. But yeah, fingers crossed. If it's not this season, then next season's a real big push to try and get back into the league again. And I think they've obviously, with the manager they've got here and Kev, with just the way they've brought this squad together, I think is just incredible. So I'd never write them off, even this season.
It is a bit tight, isn't it? But I think we're 4 off the bottom, and then I can't remember how many we were off that last playoff place. But it's one of those ones, you put a couple of wins together, we could be again back up there, touching towards that last playoff spot.
See, that's the thing, is it can go either way with that. With it being so tight, all it takes is a good run of 5 or 6 on the bounce, and you're all back amongst it, and you're in it. And again, going the other way, it takes 2-3 bad results for people to start catching. So yeah, it's not comfortable when it's that tight, but like I said, it just gives you that hope as well, that a couple of wins you get closer, a couple more wins you get a bit closer, and you just, like I say, you just don't know how far you're going to get with this group, because they're just, what they've shown in terms of character and belief and charisma really is just, it's on another level. And if they can just carry that momentum on and take that into week by week and just take it one game at a time, there's every opportunity. But it's every game's going to be a tough game, and the higher we get, the more teams are going to come and just try and sit back and soak it up and hit us on the counter attack and look to make games ugly and make them a bit more boring, so that we can't do what we want to do. And it can make it tough, but at the same time, I think we've got enough creativity in the team and in the squad now, with the depth, that there are changes that can be made to help impact the game and change the way it's going. So just keep fingers crossed to see where it goes really, and just hope for the best that we have just enough to get in there. Yeah,
it will be great. We need that promotion, though, don't we? We need to go up, because
we certainly do. If
we go up, I mean, I work in football charities as well. We know that budgets then get bigger, don't they, as well? So.
Definitely. So for us, being out of the Football League is huge. It has a big impact on us, and we have to change the way we work and what we can offer. So for us, it does count on the first team. If they can get back into the Football League, then all of a sudden, Premier League funding, EFL funding for the community trust is massive. So yeah, fingers crossed. We're pushing it from our side. The players are doing all they can. Kev and the team are doing what they can, and the consortium coming in, they've got one aim as well. So yeah, we're all on the same page, and fingers crossed. We'll see what can happen this year. There's never a dull moment at Southend United, put it that way.
No, not at all. Well, gentlemen, it's been brilliant talking to you today. Thank you very much for sticking us in a box. This has been great. It's a shame the brand new one was a little bit locked, but never mind. Maybe next time.
Yeah, D2 Lounge next time.
We'll save that one.
We'll save it. All right, chaps. Well, thanks very much. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Massive thanks there, Paul, for arranging that. What a great interview.
Yeah, thanks to Dan King and also John White for a tremendous chat. But you know what happened halfway through that?
Yeah,
Your laptop went into sleep mode. We all panicked. Well, I panicked. I was like, what's going on here? You stopped recording. We started hitting all the buttons, and then it popped back up. And I don't know if it's made the edit, but there was a few choice words said in the middle there. But maybe it's been cut out. But no, great interview. Great to talk to Dan about everything they do, the pathway for players coming in. there is that pathway from literally the streets of Southend bang into the first team, which is fantastic. And great to talk to John about his time playing for Southend, and who knows, maybe another future manager there in the offing.
Good stuff. Well, yeah, big thanks, guys. And thanks to you, Paul, for arranging that. So we're going to take a little break now, and we'll be back shortly with Paul's previews.
Huzzah!
It's been a real tricky few weeks for Southend with a string of losses, but there's now a massive chance to bounce back with 2 winnable away games. So it's now time for everyone's favourite part of the show.
Paul's previews.
Paul, first, let's deal with the first game, which is this Saturday against Oxford City, who are currently bottom of the league. What have you got for us?
Well, the Basement Boys are in dire form at the minute, although they did win their last home match against Ebbsfleet 1-0, but they are certainly there for the taking. When we look at their last 5 in the league, they've only won once, drawn none, lost the 4, scoring 5 and conceding a mammoth 14. Right, so it's all there to play for. Their home form doesn't fare any better. Again, winning just the once and then losing 4, scoring 5, conceding 10.
Wow.
But they, like I say, they beat Ebbsfleet 1-0 last time, so the confidence might be there a little bit. But we've got to go there and break that, end this 3-game unbeaten run. We need Waldron scoring. They have got a little goal scorer there themselves.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the old journeyman, Josh Parker.
Oh.
Yes, from Wickham, Charlton, Aberdeen, Dom Zale in, is it Slovenia, Slovakia? Somewhere like that. He's been about. So we've got to keep him quiet. But they concede that they're a bit poor. They are the Basement Boys. They come up. I think they're still part-time as well. So it's there for the take, and we need a real positive result. We're going to be taking, and again, hundreds down to Oxford. We need that 11th man there just to go and get the goals, get the 3 points.
12th man, hopefully.
12th man, you know what I mean.
So Danny Waldron, you mentioned him there. He's got some minutes, but he's not got a goal yet.
No.
Seems like a good opportunity against a team that more probably akin to the level that he's played at before, compared to maybe like a Chesterfield or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we know he's quick, so he's got to use his pace there against these the part-timers. Him and Harry have got to be stretching that back for making those runs. And then I think, Crowther could be there. Again, are they going to be able to deal with him attacking corners, making them runs in? I don't think so. So, it's going to be an interesting game, but we need the luck on us. We've got to stop hitting the posts and the bar and get one in the back of the net.
Absolutely. So that's this Saturday, and it's followed closely by another away trip to Maidenhead, who are currently 14th in the table. What have you got for us for Maidenhead, Paul?
Well, another big one, this, because if we beat Maidenhead and they have a little bit of a wobble in their next one, we could literally leapfrog them. If they lose their next one and we beat them, or if they draw, we'll be up there with them. I mean, in the last 5, they've won 2, drawn 1, lost 2. Fairly tight games all around, really. They've only scored 5 and conceded 5. And when you look at the home form, it's even narrower. So they've won 2, drawn 1, lost 2, scored 3, conceded 4. So they are quite tight and compact. I mean, their top scorer, Reece Smith's, only hit 7.
Right.
So, but again, if we can get a positive result, get that momentum, confidence back, go there, attack them, there's no reason why we can't beat Maidenhead away. However, they do have a couple of ex-players.
Really? A couple of ex-Southends? Yeah.
Yes, well, they have Sam Barrett's gone back there. We signed Sam back in a couple of years back from Maidenhead. He looked really good, really tricky, energetic winger, had a horrific injury and smashed his knee up and couldn't get back to where he was, and then ended up going back to Maidenhead, and he's been there ever since. And then we've got our an old favourite there, Mr. Kane Ferdinand, and in the engine room down there at Maidenhead as well. So, they always enjoy playing against Southend. I think, we're going to have to be a bit wary of them. But, there's no reason why we can't get there and get a result. We just need to be scoring. Like I say, Waldron needs some confidence, get a goal or 2. Harry needs to be scoring again. Maybe even Mr. Sandak, give him a little try as well, because we've got the options now. I think we need to be a bit more creative going forward.
Yeah. So it is 3 games without a single goal for Southend, isn't it? So, that's obviously the problem.
Yeah.
Only conceded, obviously against Chesterfield, it was 3, but then only conceding 1 in the other games. Got to get back to that free free scoring style of football that we were seeing sort of earlier in the season, and big opportunity to climb back up the table.
Absolutely, better. And what way it started at the part-timers at Oxford, and we've got our energy levels will be better, we will be fitter, so we have to really take the game to. We might have to be patient because teams are now coming out to frustrate Southend, so we might have to be a little bit more thinking about what we're going to be doing. We need Fongu showing those flashes, brilliance of skill, attacking down that left again. We need to put in a shift, but I think it wouldn't surprise me at all if the boys have been working really hard and we're going to see a couple of goals in each game.
Nice, yeah, that'll be nice. So we'll be back next week to review how those games have gone. So if you are travelling to Oxford or Maidenhead, we hope you have a great day.
Safe travels.
And all that's left to say really is a massive thank you to everyone out there listening, and a big thanks to yourself as well, Paul, of course.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
And if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening to this. If you're on our YouTube, or if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, hit the subscribe because that really helps us out. And please share the podcast with your Southend loving friends. That will really help us out as well. That's it from us. We will see you again next week. Up the Blues.
Up the Blues.